good afternoon, everybody. I'll introduce myself while we wait and see if anybody is able to hop on. That's one thing about doing these lives. I never know if it's a good time for anybody else but me, but the replay will be available afterwards. My name is Anne. I'm one of the mentors here on the Sonlight app, and I ended up with a couple of questions on the app that led me to picking this topic for this week's live talk, and the topic is centered around how to plan your 36 weeks of school. So Jessica in the app is going to switch to a year-round schedule this upcoming year, and she was asking, I want to know what all of those who have gone before her have discovered and have done. So I posted on the app and on the Facebook connections group to survey how families schedule their 36 weeks. And I collected, a little bit of data to share with y'all. So taking a tally of those who responded, it really was about half and half. Half followed a traditional school year and half followed a year-round schedule that they planned. And I thought it was interesting how just with the sample that I got, how equal that was. So we will tackle the year-round topic first, and by far the most popular option when doing year-round school is to do something like 6 weeks on and 1 week off, so that you have more regularly scheduled breaks throughout the year. And that was by far the most popular. And just a couple of other things that were mentioned, doing 3 weeks on and 1 week off, and also just having no set breaks, period. Just not really having much of a schedule, but just being able to take the whole year to do it. So those were the major options for scheduling year-round. School, 6 weeks on, 1 week off was definitely the most popular. And coming up with a list of pros when it comes to doing year-round school, I was able to determine these from those who have gone before, that retention is better. Because without as long of a break, the retention overall for all your different subjects, that is definitely one plus. And routine is good for families that just love their routine, which we do. It was a really good thing just to have that routine going for most of the year, and they felt less stressed doing that type of year-round schedule. But they still could take longer breaks if they wanted to, because even when you do 6 weeks on, 1 week off, that doesn't cover the whole year. So you are able to schedule in some breaks that you might want. There was a family that, a few families did this. They would take off Thanksgiving to New Year and have a super long break in the wintertime. So the other half of the people that responded to my post typically kept with a traditional school year, like April through August, another one of those A months. April is next month. August through May or so. And most of them did respond that they like to do that because they like to have their summers off. And it seems to be a very regional thing. Think about what the climate is like where you live. Is that really the only warm time there is for you? And so you want to have that time off to do lots of outdoor things. I know a lot of people in the South where I live like to start school in July just because it's so hot, and there's just, it's not pleasant to be outside, so you might as well be inside reading your wonderful books. Pros, reasons that people like to stay with a traditional schedule. They are free to do seasonal activities like the Vacation Bible School, swimming lessons, summer camp, and things like that. Sometimes there are just too many of those things in the summer for you to be able to keep your usual routine. So what is the best way? What is the best way? Year-round, traditional? Well, they're both the best way. It just really depends on what your needs are as a family. One is not better than the other. You do what fits for your family. Either option has the flexibility that you need. Personally, I've always done more of a traditional schedule, but we typically started before the public schools did, just because it was so hot here that you might as well just get started. And we did our best to try to finish up when the area schools ended just because of the activities that we did in the summer. But I do love the idea of doing the year round. I wanted to add a few general scheduling tips that are really good no matter which schedule you choose, year round or traditional. Highly recommend getting a slow start. And this was mentioned in the responses on the Facebook page that one family likes to get a slow start by just starting one or two subjects. And then after a couple of weeks, they'll add in another. And then they'll add in another couple weeks later. And so it's a tapered start, but that also means you have a tapered end, which is really nice because everybody feels a little burnout when you've been doing something for so long. And so you're doing all the things in the middle of the school year, but then you gradually finish up one thing and then the other, and you end up with a lighter load at the end. So that's one way to get a slow start. Another way to get a slow start, and this is what I found that we like to do, is at the very beginning of starting up a new school year, taking 2 days to do 1 day's worth of what's in the instructor's guide. And that was really helpful for us just to get back into the routine, because we did take, 2.5, whatever, months off in the summer. So for us, we had to ease back into that routine. So those are tips no matter what kind of schedule that you're following that are helpful. The slow start, I highly recommend it. Now, related to scheduling your 36 weeks, we had a question in the app, and it's from Maddie, and she asked about how you handle the curriculum if you get a week or two behind schedule. And she said it feels wrong to skip over anything, and making up work just feels so hard to do. Well, I agree with both of those things. So my first thought about it is to never skip anything that you want to do. It is totally okay to skip something in the curriculum if it's something that you are choosing not to do. But if you had planned to be done with this particular book or be starting this book at a certain time, and you end up, with a 2-week-long illness or whatever, well, just pick up where you left off. Just go to the next thing the very next day you do school. If it is something that you want to do in your curriculum, then do it. Just wait until everybody's better and just keep on going. But you can double up on some things if you really feel the need to do that. Well, some things, not all things. And I personally think that doubling up on skill-based subjects like math and language arts, writing, those are really hard to double up on. I mean, who can do double math problems or write double paragraphs, when it's typically enough just to do what the one assignment is. So those types of things I don't recommend doubling up on, but the ones that are easy to double up on are any of the things that are based on reading aloud. Your read alouds, your history, your science. It never seemed difficult to add in another chapter here or there. If you do feel like you wanted to pick up the pace and maybe make up for some lost time. And that being the case, you'll realize, well, you're not going to finish everything at the same time. And I always started off doing everything at the same time. We did take 2 days to do 1 day of the IG, but we were still keeping up with everything. But oh my goodness, by the end of the school year, we were finishing up something but still doing this other thing. And it happened every single year, but it really wasn't bad because I like that tapered end where you just have a lighter load towards the end, no matter what it is. So yeah, there have been years that we finished everything except for math, because math just couldn't get done during a hard season of life, and it had to wait a while. So we just worked on math all through June, but we finished. So talking again about getting behind your schedule. So you do plan the schedule that you intend to have, but we all know that things come up and things happen. And either way that you plan your school, the year-round or the traditional, there's flexibility built in. There are no hard, fast deadlines except for one. The only hard, fast deadline for finishing your curriculum is if you have a high school senior and you have to have that transcript done to send to a college or to give to a trade school or something like that. But that doesn't happen until they're in the 12th grade. So I encourage you to plan whatever schedule works best for your family. And it was so fun just to read what everybody has done. And just to kind of sum it up, with the people that responded, half did a traditional school schedule and half did the year-round. And by far the most popular choice for year-round was 6 weeks on, 1 week off. So that appears to be something that is successful for a whole lot of families. Thank you for all of you who have joined. If you have a question, you can type it in the chat. This will also be replayed on demand in the app. It'll be posted. That was the word I was trying to think of. It'll be posted on the app so that you can see what the conclusion was based on my little survey that I took. And I want to thank everybody that did respond to the post so I could compile this data for all of y'all. And if you ever have questions about anything, post them in the app and we are happy to help. Thank y'all for joining me.